Right now at 6, a veteran punched by a tow truck driver over where he parked.
He had done everything he needed to do to be legally parked in that handicapped parking spot.
What a jury saw that convinced it to award the victim 7 figures. Plus,
TriMet Security, this is Jason. How can I help you?
The new ways TriMet is responding to rider concerns over safety.
then the House Speaker comes to campaign in 2 local toss-up races that could tip the balance of power.
My presence here shows you how important this district is for all of America.
And putting a dollar amount on how climate change is hitting your wallet.
It hits us in everything that we buy, and it's going to continue to hit us in the future.
We begin at 6 with a Multnomah County jury awarding a veteran more than $1 million after a tow truck driver assaulted him. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Molko.
And I'm Christine Pitawanich. The fight started over an argument about where that veteran parked his truck. Devin Haskins spoke with that man's lawyers this afternoon. Devin, this was all caught on camera.
Yeah, that's right. And it paints a clear picture of what happened 4 years ago when a driver tried to pick up his towed truck. It escalated very quickly, sending the disabled veteran to the hospital and years of pain following the attack. I want to give you a warning, though. The video you're about to watch may be tough for some people to watch. This is body camera video from the tow truck driver's perspective.
How can I help you?
It's July 6th, 2020.
Pick up the blue tag.
The encounter started off pretty casual. Curtis Bunch was at Retriever Towing in Salem to pick up his car that had been towed a few days prior.
You want to move your vehicle, or are you handicapped?
You can see from the security camera overlooking the parking lot, the truck Bunch had driven here in was parked in a disabled parking spot. Bunch had been injured while serving in the Army years ago and had developed PTSD.
He had done everything he needed to do to be legally parked in that handicapped parking spot.
These are Mr. Bunch's lawyers, Wade Boyer and Paul Kruger. The tow truck driver, Richard Pinkerton, didn't like where Bunch had parked.
Do you want to move it, or do you want me to move it for you?
Do you think you can move it?
I sure think I can.
As Pinkerton gets into his tow truck, Bunch walks around to the passenger side of his truck to grab his gun. He then puts it in his back waistband of his pants and walks to the rear of his truck and stands there.
He was concerned for his own safety. He was also concerned that if the vehicle was towed, it would have his concealed weapon still within it.
Seeing this, Pinkerton gets agitated and starts yelling at Bunch.
Go ahead, pull it out. Mine's bigger and I can draw faster. Come on, pull it out.
As Pinkerton jumps out of his truck, things immediately escalate. He gives Bunch a 5-second warning to drop the gun before punching him in the face multiple times.
Pull a gun on me. 23 years in the Army. I've killed 21 men.
The punches broke several bones in his face, and in the months and years since the attack, had reignited his PTSD symptoms.
He went from what his wife described as the 7 best years of their marriage to living in isolation in a 5th-wheel trailer out on the coast.
In his deposition with Bunch's lawyers, Pinkerton said he had since left Retriever after he was convicted of 4th-degree assaults and sentenced to anger management classes.
It threw me right back into a constant defensive military mode. And that's what I craved as a soldier. And it fed an animal in me.
And after a 6-day trial and 4 hours of deliberations, a jury awarded Bunch more than $1.1 million. We reached out to Retriever Towing, and they said that it was an unfortunate incident, it was unfortunate that it happened at all, but then placed blame on both Pinkerton and Bunch for what happened and reiterated that Pinkerton no longer works for the company. David?
Devin Haskins. Thank you, Devin. Appreciate the update. In your headlines, police are searching for a driver they say ran over a woman in southeast Portland overnight and kept going. It happened just after 1:30 this morning in southeast Stark and 99th. Investigators say the woman was apparently clinging to the outside of a moving car, fell off, and then was run over. She was taken to the hospital with life-threatening injuries.
Gresham High School's principal is resigning, and now students are giving their take. Erica Beto Whitlock announced yesterday she was resigning. Students and staff had raised concerns about safety protocols after a student brought a gun on campus in September.
I felt really relieved, and I felt that we're finally taking steps to
getting our school to the point where it needs to be for safety and stuff.
I think transparency is something that we really need to see from new leadership, because that is something that we have heavily lacked this year and last year.
Beto Whitlock's resignation is effective November 8th.
OHSU President Dr. Danny Jacobs is stepping down after more than 6 years in the top job. Jacobs says his decision is for personal reasons. The board chair crediting Jacobs with leading OHSU through the pandemic and through the merger agreement with Legacy Health, though a 2021 independent review found the university failed to create an environment that made everyone feel welcomed and safe, something for which Jacobs apologized at the time. Tomorrow, the board will vote on whether to appoint School of Medicine Dean Nate Selden as the next president.
In Albany, for the first time in nearly 40 years, teachers in the Greater Albany School District will have their say in a strike authorization vote. The teachers union has been negotiating with the district for about 8 months now. They say the district is not agreeing to demands for better student support and campus safety. In a statement earlier this month, the district said it was open to communication and bargaining with the union. Voting ends next Tuesday.
And Governor Tina Kotek and Oregon's congressional delegation are asking the Biden administration for help in response to this year's record-setting wildfire season. Nearly 2 million acres burned, almost doubling the previous record, and those fires caused an estimated $650 million in damage to public infrastructure alone. The disaster declaration request covers 6 hard-hit counties in central and eastern Oregon. It also includes a request to waive the state's share of the cost when it comes to reimbursing counties for disaster recovery. Matt?
All right, David, beautiful sunset going on all around the state right now. This from our Newport Skycam. Just fantastic. A pretty warm day, too. We made it up to 60. It's 54 out of the coast right now, and we'll show you the Dow. There's also some nice color in the sky, but east winds beginning to show up. They're going to get stronger for the western part of the gorge and the east side of Portland tomorrow. So it's going to be breezy. You'll notice that. Mostly clear, though, pretty much throughout the day tomorrow, becoming breezy mid part of the day. We'll make it up to 64 tomorrow, so warmer than today. And even though Portland only drops to 44, once you get away from the city, it will be frosty yet again. We've got a frost advisory up just west of Portland over the West Hills into Washington County, northern and eastern Clark County as well. So frosty again tonight with lows in the 30s. Rain this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. The heaviest rain, though, will probably not happen during the daytime hours. And then mountain snow arrives next week. So we'll touch more on all of this in a bit, guys. Back to you.
Yeah, enjoying the dry weather for now. Thank you, Matt. Here at 6, TriMet is taking steps to improve rider safety by adding blue light phones and upgrades to its Security Operations Center.
Celine Stevens is live at the Rose Quarter Max station with the details. Celine?
David, Christine, that's right. TriMet recently opened the Security Operations Center in September, meaning that for the first time ever, the security resources will be unified under one roof, and they'll be monitoring and operating surveillance 24/7. So for some riders, there have been safety concerns over the last few years when it comes to riding TriMet, thanks to crime and drug use. However, the transit system has worked to improve safety and the public's perception recently by adding more security officers, launching a security hotline, installing thousands of cameras, and most recently, adding blue light security phones to some MAX platforms. With the push of a button, riders who want to report something or notify dispatch about a concern just have to press the button on the phone and someone will answer. The phone also works both ways and has a camera, so if a dispatcher sees someone doing something they shouldn't be doing, they can speak to them. As for the Security Operations Center, TriMet says they currently have 7 dispatchers that received specialized training to monitor the system at the new center, but that number will likely increase.
Our Security Operations Center, which is like a nerve center for all that activity around security, all that personnel, all of the camera systems that we've added, and there's going to be a response, and that response could include the dispatching of one of our resources, those 475 personnel that we have out working on the system, to address that particular issue.
As for what's next, Wilson says that they'll continue to have that increased presence on their system, as well as making other improvements as well, like potentially having access controls on things like elevators. Back to you.
Yeah, Celine Stevens here, a very busy MAX crossing this evening. Thanks, Celine. Well, with just 12 days to go to the election, House Speaker Mike Johnson is in the Northwest to stump for two candidates in toss-up races that could determine the balance of power in Congress.
Johnson first stopped in Washington's 3rd District to show support for Republican Joe Kent, who's in a rematch with Democratic Congresswoman Marie Gluesenkamp-Perez. Back in 2022, Kent, a Special Forces Green Beret and Gold Star husband, lost to Gluesenkamp-Perez by less than 3,000 votes. Today, our Blair Best asked Speaker Johnson about the strategy behind coming to the Pacific Northwest.
Speaker Johnson, what is the strategy behind coming to Southwest Washington just 12 days out before the election?
Well, it shows you how important this race is to us. This district in Washington is one that everybody around the country is watching because it's so important. It's rated as one of the closest toss-up seats and one that the Republican Party should win.
I think it's reflective that what interests Joe is power and access to, celebrities. But I'm here because I love our community and I want to spend time in it, and I value what we have here.
Speaker Johnson was also in Oregon City today supporting Lori Chavez-DeRemer in the race for Oregon's 5th congressional district, another toss-up. Alma McCarty is there as we speak. We'll hear from her tonight on The Story at 6:30.
Yeah, wait to hear until what Janelle Bynum said about the speaker being in town. All right, straight ahead at 6, new research adds up just how hard climate change is hitting our wallets and our bank account.
And later in sports, a star player tweets his frustration after a crushing end to the Timbers season. Our Orlando Sanchez will have all the details.